Yeah.
I guess we're going.
Yep.
Good morning, all of you who are interested in the Port Angeles and Sequim real estate market. We're Brent and Amy Powell.
Morning.
We work with Keller Williams, under Keller Williams Olympic Realty. We live in Port Angeles, so we kind of like Port Angeles a lot. And today we're going to go through the homes that have closed in the last 7 days. There's 1 manufactured, 4 in Port Angeles, and 5 in Sequim. Not a lot. And then we had one of our watchers suggest that we report on how many are pending and stuff. So we've got some statistics for you.
Viewers.
Yeah, people out there in TV
watchers
land.
is kind of like a creepy or something.
And it's 40 degrees out. We do this for you.
Yeah. So this is the coldest it's been, and we actually have a little bit remaining of looks like sleet there on our table, which was covered with it this morning. So
did he just? No. Okay.
No, you didn't mention the sleet.
Okay.
Sweet sleet. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Then at the end of our telecast today, we're going to just briefly review the process of a contract. So, you may not have purchased a home recently, and things have changed just a little bit, and it depends on where you're from. Every state has its own real estate rules and laws, and Washington State, we like being, or they like, whoever they are, like having being on the forefront of the whole legal system, because sometimes there are lawsuits that are happening around the country that set the precedent for all the rest of the states. So eventually there's a commonality, so that Washington kind of tends to be in the lead in that area. So starting out, we have 1 manufactured home in Sequim this last week that closed, and this is on Chicken Coop Road. That's actually the name.
We're creative with names around here.
So who
Must
knows
have
where
been a chicken coop.
somebody
up
had
that
a
road.
chicken coop. But anyway, its original price was $500,000, and then they lowered that price to $425,000, which is a wise choice, because it finally sold at $425,000, and that is $75,000 less than the original price.
You want to tell us how many bedrooms and stuff?
Oh yeah, the rest of that stuff. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Days on the market 92. It's been a week since we did this, so I kind of.
He's cold.
Yeah, 92.
What can I say?
Built in 1971, 1,032 square feet.
You were so proud of yourself.
9
I finished reading the first 2 sentences.
9.8 acres, so a little chunk of land, which is always
the desirable part.
Yeah,
of that.
that's pretty cool.
House number 1 in Port Angeles is on East 10th Street. It was listed for $325,000 and it sold for $333,000. $8,000 over asking. Everyone was excited there, I'm sure. Our neighbors are home. And it was 3 bedroom, 1.5 baths, 4 days on the market. They lowered it really quick then.
Yeah.
Oh no, they didn't lower it. That's what it is.
Yeah. I just agree. Whatever she says.
1925 it was built, and there were 1273 square feet on a city lot with a neighborhood view.
Okay. So these are the homes that have closed in the last 7 days in Sequim and Port Angeles. And even though we live in Port Angeles, we represent buyers and sellers in both of those areas and in the outlying areas around the town proper. So the next one is on West 14th in Port Angeles, originally listed for $399,000. Didn't lower the price at all. It finally sold for $373,000, and that's $26,000 less than asking. So it has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 15 days on the market, built in 1990, 1,524 square feet on just about 1/4 of an acre, and they have a territorial view.
House number 3 in Port Angeles was on Elwha Bluffs Road. It was originally listed for $630,000. They lowered it to $605,000, and then it finally closed at $5 $49,500. We're not that close to the airport, but they like to go right over our house.
But we don't get a lot of planes here, so it becomes an event, you know. What is that thing?
So this one was, the Owell Bluffs house was $80,500 less. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 55 days on the market. Built in 1997, 1733 square feet on 1.3, 1 1/3 acres with a mountain view. And the final house?
Final house in Port Angeles to close is on Del Guzzi. I think it's Guzzi, although isn't there a Guzzi? I think that's Moto Guzzi. Is that a motorbike?
It was a builder. Are you done with that?
Yeah, and yeah.
There was a builder in Port Angeles named
Del Guzzi?
something Del Guzzi, and he built all these little houses, and then they named roads after him.
Yeah. But he built good houses, a lot of brick ones. So, anyway, if it's a Del Guzzi home, then you know you've got a good solid home. Originally priced at $699,950, and subsequently lowered to $649,950.
Oh, subsequent. Never mind.
She does help me most of the time. It finally sold for $634,000. That's $65,950 less than asking. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 half bath, 138 days on the market, built in 2007. Was 2,723 square feet on 0.61 of an acre. So this was not built by Del Guzzi because most of his homes were back in the 40s, but it's on the road named after him. So
by the golf course.
By the golf course. Okay, on to Sequim.
Sequim. Okay, house number 1. We have 5. Was on Highway 101. This must be over in the east end of town. Originally listed for $319,900, sold for $280,000, but it did have a price drop of $300,000, even though it was only days on market was 9 total.
Price drop to $300,000. They lowered it to $300,000. You said it had a price drop of $300,000.
Okay. See, he's making me perfect.
Yeah.
Again. Okay. And it was a 3 bedroom, 1 1/2 baths, 9 days on the market, built in 1939, 1,536 square feet, 0.97 of an acre with a neighborhood view. It ended up selling for $39,900 less than asked, the original price.
Whoa, baby. Okay, the next one is on Lost Mountain Road. And I don't know how you could lose a mountain, but evidently somebody did at some point in the past. But original price is $449,950. Then they lowered it after a while to $419,950, and it finally sold for $415,000, a little bit over that adjusted price at $34,950, less than asking. And this home has 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath. 97 days on the market, built in 1925 with 1,276 square feet on 2.1 acres. And they have a mountain view.
Okay. House number 3 in Sequim was on Country Lane, and there's this was a 2-part, so it must have had an ADU. There are 2 different address numbers. It was originally listed for $950,000. The asking price was dropped to $850,000, and then it ended up selling for $829,500, which means $120,500 less. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 152 days on the market, built in 03, 3,154 square feet, and it's 3.8 acres with a mountain view in Sequim. 2 more.
Right. Usually when you see a house that sold that much under, that's because they had to sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a couple on the market that the folks just didn't want to sell it for what the market price was, so it's off the market again. And we'll have a few figures for you at the end here on that. So the next one sold in Sequim is on Timothy Lane, originally priced for $635,000. And sold for $692,000, which is $57,000 over asking. Happy sellers there. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 half bath. 1 day on the market. So
wow.
somebody took a shine to that, and it has...
They came in really high.
Yeah, 57 over. They wanted that house. 2,055 square feet on 1 acre with a mountain view.
And the final house in Sequim was on Kirner Road, Kirner Road, originally listed for $859,950. They lowered the price to $749,950, and that's what it sold for. So they jumped $110,000 in their listing price down, and that's what it sold for. So 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 81 days on the market, built in 2000, 2437 square feet on 2.87 of an acre with a territorial view in Sequim.
So that prices indicate that people are still overpricing their homes. At least we're 4 to 6 weeks ago when these things went under contract.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping that the people are able to adjust that. It's awfully hard to realize that your home now is worth $100,000 to $200,000 less than it was at the peak of the market, which for us in our area was roughly April, March area was the peak. And then it's been slip sliding away.
And they're still predicting lower prices at some point.
Still going lower. So if you are thinking about buying something,
if you can wait.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. So
although supply is down right now, too.
Yeah. So we've got numbers on that, honey. You want to go over those?
Okay. So I've started a little Excel page. This week there were 10 total closings in Port Angeles and Sequim. This doesn't count land, but it does include the manufactured. And also in this week, 4 are pending. 4 went pending. 8 are under contract. So what that means, pending is when all the contingencies are gone, all the addendums are satisfied and waived, like financing or inspection. Under contract is when it first comes actively got an offer accepted. So we can combine those, and that would be 12. And then there were 2 additional that were under contract with a bump. And you'll see this occasionally on wherever you're looking, Zillow or Realtor.com. And those are homes that are contingent on the buyers selling their house in Timbuktu. Not that we get a lot of traffic from Timbuktu. But
there's actually a place with that name.
Yeah, they know.
Right?
So
Africa someplace.
New on the market this week, there were 35 houses came on. And 7 homes expired. So they were overpriced and no one bought them, or there was something horribly wrong with them. And then 3 were withdrawn or taken off the market combined. So those are, like we had a nice house up Monroe that they just weren't prepared to lower the price to what it would take to sell it. And then they just said, oh, we'll wait till spring.
Which in this market is probably a bad idea because
it's just going to go lower.
Yeah, we started at just a little under $1 million, and finally it was down to like $750. And next spring, I don't think it's going to go up by next spring, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, it depends on the interest rates. Although the rates have dropped some.
Yeah.
And next week we're going to have a lender come talk to us a little bit. She has to tread lightly because she can't promise a lot of stuff, but she'll give us a weekly projection on the market.
And we're working on a better place to shoot in the winter. I mean, we've talked about sitting here at this table all winter long, and it'll be sort of outside. Yeah, so we've got it's really.
We have a little project.
Are we going to tell them what it is?
No.
Okay,
surprise them.
It's a surprising thing, but it's pretty cool. We ordered this surprising thing from.
He's got to tell. He wants to tell you.
No, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's made in Poland, and we ordered it on Tuesday, and they said, okay, it'll be there Thursday, and I'm thinking, no way. But by golly, the thing showed up on Thursday from Poland. Can you believe that? We can't even get something from Missoula, Montana under a week. or maybe 2 weeks, but they got it figured out. It came right away. So we're putting it together this week, and maybe we'll be inside next week. Okay, so closings. We had one manufactured in Sequim, 4 in PA were lower than asking, 5 in Sequim, and with 1 over asking. I'm sorry.
1 over asking in each.
Yeah, in each one. So we had 3 under in PA and 4 under in Sequim. The median high was 515. The medium low was 487.
And that we can track that for sure.
Yeah.
We'll track that, and that'll give us an idea of where the prices are going to. So it should be useful information after a few weeks of gathering.
Yeah, so we'll try to have it make sense. I know that right now it's just a bunch of numbers that kind of come and go, but
so today,
shortly,
our grandkids are coming, and I baked a lot of cutout cookies, and they're going to decorate. They're 2 and 4, and that should be good, fun. And then we're going to take our daughter out to lunch with the gang.
And everybody else?
Yeah.
For her birthday.
Yeah.
So that's what we do here in Port Angeles. That's pretty thrilling.
And the town is preparing for Christmas. How are they doing that, Brent?
Well, they put the lights up downtown, and that's always fun. We hope they would leave them up all year because, we need all the help we can get. But there's an outfit that rents an ice skating rink. And
I think it's called the Chamber is the outfit.
No, we're the ones that rent it, but the people that rent it to us, they rent these things and they send them all over the country. So they provide everything for an ice skating rink, all of the
Zamboni.
Yeah, the Zamboni, and we have to drive it ourselves. They don't come up and do that, but
only the special people get to drive.
Only special people, yeah. But it's a big hit, and it's going. Well, you got music. It's downtown. It's all lit up. It's a lot.
It's been going at least a week, and they don't close it until the 1st of February.
Yeah, it actually runs on volunteers. Everybody in town chips in, and
lots of hot chocolate. I think Logan showed you a video in the beginning of that's what that was.
Yeah. So we are. Good morning. We are sort of like, if you watch Hallmark channels, they're friendly. But Port Angeles is a little bit like that, the little towns they make up. And they say they're filmed in this country. They're all filmed in Canada because it's way cheaper. But they all have a Christmas tree lighting ceremony. It's like they've got seven plots.
He's going to talk about it.
Yeah, but we don't do that. I guess we could do that. But anyway, we thought we'd run over just the process of, once you find your place.
We're going to keep it short because it's cold out here, right?
Okay. But I promise we said we'd do this.
Okay.
So once you find a place you want to make an offer for it, you write it up. In Washington State, there's nothing verbal. So you watch some of the programs on TV, and they call and say, "Will you take this?" And, "Oh yeah, we'll take." So that doesn't exist in Washington because if it's not in writing, it's not real. And so there may be communication on the phone between the agents, but it's not until somebody actually has an offer written down and they sign it and you come to an agreement. And when that happens, it's called you have mutual agreement or it's under contract. Once it's under contract, the timeline is pretty well set and the clock is ticking. So we have a saying here that's, I think it's a legal term, and that is time is of the essence. So everything is timed. You have 3 days to do this, 10 days to do this. And after the end of that period, then the contingency expires. You want to explain what a contingency is?
It's a condition written into the contract that allows the buyer to get out of the deal and get the earnest money back if this thing, like an inspection or the septic inspection, isn't done and meets their criteria.
So the way the timelines are determined in our state is that if it's 5 days or less, it doesn't count holidays or the weekends. So if you time that time period, it might end up being 7 or 8 days. If the time period is 10 days, it includes everything except it can't end on a holiday or a weekend, so you might get a few more days.
So we just recently had a deal where our client was selling her house in Oregon, and we kept waiting for their inspection to be done over there so that we could move on and know this was more secure. And Oregon doesn't count the weekends in
for
a 10-day.
Any of the times.
Well, not in a 10-day inspection period.
Huh.
So it ends up being weeks, 2 weeks to give them. So anyway,
if you have
different. You check with your local people.
Yeah, 2 weeks. If you have a couple of weekends and a holiday, it can be much longer. So finally, you go through all the way, and we're just really truncating this to make it much slower. You go through all the process, and then finally, you have a closing date, and everybody has to agree on that. And the main thing that might make it hard to close in the time you've scheduled, which is on the contract, you put the closing date on the contract, is that if something comes up with financing. So last week we talked a little bit about having a local lender, and occasionally the lenders, these people want to lend you money, and they're going to work hard to make it happen, but they have to go through what they call underwriting, and that's their last excuse not to lend you money. And sometimes if they've been slack in what they do, they come up with an underwriting reason why they're not going to lend money, maybe a day or two closing. So we stay away from those lenders. And but sometimes you have to bump the closing a day or two. That's real common. Maybe you're supposed to close on the 9th and something happens. The documents don't get, if you're dealing with a lender that's out of town, the documents don't come in time, and you might have to bump it a day or two. That's very common, and everybody wants that to happen. So anyway, that's all for today.
Although we have one under contract, and it's supposed to close the 12th, but it looks like it's going to close the 8th.
Yeah, sometimes they close early. So
everyone is happy that day.
Yeah, for some reason. Yeah. So anyway, hey, it's been good being here again. Thanks for those of you who push that like button. I'm still not sure what that means, but thanks. I think it's a good thing. And if you're one of our subscribers, appreciate your loyalty. And if you happen to see us sometime, if you're in town or live around here, give us a shout. We'll look puzzled for a minute because we won't know who you are. So just come up and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
That's always
or give
fun.
us a ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that.
So our number's there, and we love doing what we do. And last week I mentioned something about us being retired. Well, kind of yes and no, because real estate is something that either you're working way too hard for too many days in a row, or maybe you're not doing much for a while. So it's kind of like being retired. But this is our full-time profession. We do some other things too. We have a bicycle tour business in the summer that we do mainly so we can stay alive. If you sit around too much, you die. And I'm up in that dying age, between now and when I finally kick at 95, and I want to be healthy when that happens. So
Logan's cringing.
Our producers say that's all. That's it. Okay. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.